Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Today we're going to be talking about the non-competitive play, the casual play experience that is outlined in FAB 2.0. I want to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, we've talked a lot about this on the channel as it is a much needed thing, and there's a lot to talk about. So let's hop in and look at the article. One of the reasons that we did not talk about this much so far on the channel is that they didn't really give us a ton of actual information about these things. Flesh and Blood loves to do, LSS loves to do this thing where they just don't give us a lot of info until all of a sudden they just regurgitate a bunch of stuff at us. And we got a bunch of stuff with FAB 2.0, and one of those things that we got was an understanding, and this is probably the most important as it pertains to casual play, is that in the James White interview with the Team Covenant, we heard him basically say that they don't feel like they've done a great job at catering to the casual crowd. This is, again, something that I have highlighted on this channel a lot, that I feel like Flesh and Blood needs to do a better job of that. I feel like in trading card game worlds, the competitive scene is only a blip on the radar of the largeness that is behind a lot of the big games on the market. Particularly Magic the Gathering has an incredible amount of casual players in Commander and also just kitchen table play. So 2.0 addressing this is a major step forward. That being said, they didn't give us a lot of the details, which is typical for LSS. They like to hold things back until all of a sudden they give us a bunch of information. So I'm looking forward to that large amount of information, but we can still discuss a little bit about this on the channel. So number one, the thing that they have like 4 key areas that they want to do to better support social and casual play. Number one is this idea of lore and more storytelling and world developing. And they actually highlight this idea that they have tried to do some more books, but it just doesn't work necessarily with their publishing. So let's get in that a little bit. Sorry, I couldn't find my mouse. They talk about this world building. They talk about publishing. They kind of say it's removed from their core operations of producing a trading card game. And I understand this. You're a trading card game company. You're not a book developer, right? You're not a book writer. And I honestly, I don't know that writing a book for Flesh and Blood is really going to help the entire casual play scene, move forward. We all love the Welcome to Wraith lore book. It's called Volume 1. We kind of anticipate at some point a Volume 2 will come out. I think that I don't fully agree with LSS that the lore is the reason that casual play will work. I'm all for it. Don't hear me wrong. I am all for LSS leaning into the lore. I've actually said on the channel multiple times that they have this perfect element of their amazing art and really cool lore, and they don't do enough of putting that on their social medias and on their Instagram, on their Twitter, and they should be really digesting all this stuff and making some really cool content and giving us some more depth of their lore on those platforms. So I'm all in on them going to the lore. I particularly don't read much. I don't read a lot of books, so I don't really want them to be putting out books. It's just not something that's important to me. If they feel like that's a way to grow the game, then go for it. But I don't really care about the lore from a casual play experience. That being said, I think LSS is building this pipeline, and what they want to be doing is they want to be building this pipeline for the PvE stuff that we'll talk about later, and that's why they're starting with the more story time. You're starting to see, James kind of suggests that the first example of this is Bravo returning in Everfest, and then Dorinthia and Reinar in their classic battles, and I love that they're doing it. I'm not convinced that people are really going to buy the Dorinthia and Reinar deck because of the lore. I think they're going to buy it because the product looks like a dual deck and that kind of thing. Anyway, I like that they're doing it. I don't know that answers the question. So let's see what else they do here as they get into this. Well, then they got these products tailor-made for first play and social play experience. And there's been a lot of conversation on my channel and other channels. The professor even said that he thinks that the Reinar versus Dorinthia decks are too expensive at $50. But classic battles I think is a really great deal, deal, not price-wise, but the experience is a great deal. It's a great product. It's a great thing. it's just a great idea. And I think that the idea of battling these two heroes against each other is really cool. I don't know, a lot of the more competitive community is really excited about specific cards, and I hope that that doesn't prevent these from staying on shelves and that kind of thing. Again, this is going into that kind of idea. Dual decks is a fantastic casual play experience, and I think this is a really great thing. Again, I wish the price tag was lower, but the idea of just picking up a deck and playing it with a friend, I still have some of my Magic dual decks in my closet that are just like still together. I sometimes I love just like playing them with my buddy Robbie, and we just hang out and play the game, and it's fun to see those dual deck things. So I hope that they continue to do that. Yeah, so I like that. But I don't think that the lore, in my opinion, that's not the selling point of this. The selling point is it's a sit down to play thing. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know about the lore, but here we go. This is why they are pushing the lore, and that is this PvE element. And you guys have heard me talk about PvE for over a year on the channel. I have been a huge proponent of player versus environment experiences for Flesh and Blood. Very much based on the idea that Flesh and Blood feels like an action RPG. It feels like you're playing a video game, and you've got your inventory, you've got your armor, you've got your whatever, you're building up your collection. It feels like this amazing RPG. And I want more of that. I want them to lean into it. And I think PvE is gonna be absolutely amazing. You heard this in Rudy's video, that James thinks it's gonna be, I think he used the phrase effing awesome or something like that. Anyway, I don't want to misquote him, but he thinks it's gonna be awesome. And so see players band together in campaign settings that can be as long or as short as your party wants. It's not about winning or losing, but having an epic adventure with friends and fellow gamers where swords, shields, pizza, and beers collide, putting a lot into PvE, and our expectation, along with that many eagerly awaiting fans like Louis, is very high. PvE is currently under development, and we are working hard to make it as good as possible. More information will be announced in the future. I am so excited for PvE. I think that PvE is an incredible opportunity for this game specifically to tailor things for both kitchen table but also LGS play. And this is the key. This is the success point, I think, for PvE. Yeah, it has to be really good. It has to be really fun. But once they create something that's really good and really fun, they can actually create this in a way that works really well in their business model, and their vision for this company and this game is to support the LGS. So you attach this to a really fun casual kitchen table feel, but then I think the key here that I hope that they go with is by giving the LGS some sort of like prize support function, some sort of exclusive thing that you can only get if you bring your campaign, if you bring your character into the LGS to play the thing at the LGS. So like I personally envision some sort of campaign setting that you can buy, and you can buy it online, or you can buy it, maybe it's even just like some sort of downloadable thing on their website. But then when you go to your LGS, the LGS get a special kit that's a campaign that you can only play at a local game store. So there's an element to this that can be picked up and purchased both at a local game store, but also, you can buy it from wherever you buy your card games online and that kind of thing. But there actually is a thing that you have to go to your local game store, and this is a great way to get those kitchen table casual fans to go to a local game store and experience Flesh and Blood the way that LSS wants them to experience it, the way that LSS envisioned this game from the beginning of a game that's played around people at your local game store. So that's just something I hope I see. But what I love to hear is this idea that that they are putting it under development, and they are working hard to make it as good as possible, because this is definitely a not just an anticipated thing, but it seems like they're putting a lot of their carrots into this basket of PvE being very successful and very good. So I hope that they are, and it's great to hear that they are putting a lot of energy behind this product, because I think a lot of Flesh and Blood's casual environment in the future will rely on this product being very good. And I personally believe that for a trading card game to be successful, you have to have that casual environment that's really thriving and really good. So really excited for PvE. You guys know I've talked about it a lot on the channel. It's sometimes become a joke on the channel, but it's only a joke because I believe that of the casual environment, that this can be Flesh and Blood's Commander. This can be what brings people together in a casual environment to enjoy the card. So I think that's really cool. So then they get into reformatting casual formats like Ultimate Pit Fight. So they basically kind of say it's gonna be Ultimate Pit Fight's gonna align with Blitz, which is great. And we've played quite a bit of Ultimate Pit Fight on the channel. It didn't really stick with the group that we were playing with, and it kind of fizzled out. But I think we always played with young heroes, and this is good. Again, the most important thing for anything like this is encourage playgroups to shape their Ultimate Pit Fight rules to their own liking. So that's great. Ultimate Pit Fight, awesome. I hope that PvE encapsulates casual play better than Ultimate Pit Fight did, in my opinion. I think Ultimate Pit Fight I still need to do some testing, but in my group, but like the idea of attacking the person next to you, we didn't love that in our play group. And so the idea of changing up some of those rules where there's some rules on how many times you can be attacked in a circle or kind of something like that. I don't know. But again, encourage playgroups to shape Ultimate Pit Fight rules to their own liking. So, all right, and now here's the kicker: Commoner. Man, Commoner, I don't love that Commoner is under the umbrella of like casual play, and don't hear that as negative. I think of Commoner like Pauper from Magic the Gathering, and Pauper from Magic the Gathering is an incredibly like competitive gameplay. It's fun to play casually at the table, but there's also like this incredible like competitive element to it. In some ways, I think it's the most competitive way to play Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of whatever. In Commoner, I really think it's not doing Commoner justice to just be a casual format. And not that they're doing that, but this being in the casual format category of FAB 2.0 kind of shook me up. Not shook me up, it just kind of surprised me, to be honest. I think that I like every change that they made here. You know, we've been playing our Commoner, and I actually read this wrong originally. But we've been playing our Commoner leagues basically like this at KitchenTableTCG Discord server. We do a Commoner event once a month, and then we do a Commoner league too. It's a monthly league that you play, around every week. So I love that they left common cards only, and here's why. This is not about it being a cheaper way to play the game, although it is a cheaper way to play the game. That's not what this is about. What it's about is about being a different format that is unique and creative. And so if you want a format that's commons and rares, you could do something like, I think people are calling it the noble format or something like that. But this being a format that's commons only allows LSS to downshift cards from rare to common in order to affect the meta in a way that is inspiring and intentional. So if they want to bring a card or a set of cards into the commoner format that are rares to give, change it up, they have that ability to do it. It's way easier to bring things from rare to common than it is to take away a bunch of rares that don't help the format or that kind of muck it up. So I really like that. And then I also really like that they did the hero cards that can be rare or commons. And the rare hero things really opens this up to be really fun, and you can have your favorite hero and you can play with them in commoner. I really like that. I don't care that majestic heroes aren't included. I don't know. Again, they can downshift them to rare if they feel like they'll be good in the format, so that's fine. Now, this is something we didn't do, and I like that they did it. You can have 2 rare weapons, and I think that's really good. And I don't think there's much rare equipment yet, or any rare equipment if I'm not mistaken. But I like this. It mixes up the format. It's good. I think that's a big win. So I really, and then they say an independent banned and suspended list for the commoner format. So that's really good. I really like that this is something that they're going to push. I hope that this gets pushed outside of the casual format, though. I think there's a lot of wins here, and I've talked to a lot of LGSs that run commoner events already, and they love it, and their communities love it. So I think there's a lot of wins to making commoner even a little bit competitive format, as well as it is casual because you can easily build a deck. And there is an element to any casual play that's like you don't have to spend a lot of money. So I understand it a little bit, but I hope that doesn't only remain as a casual format in LSS's eyes. So and then rule enforcement for casual events. Yeah, more enjoyable. This is good too. So not something that needs to be talked about. All in all, great that they are focusing in on some casual ideas. Great that they're focusing in on improving their identity as a card game to include more casual formats. I think that is a major step forward for Flesh and Blood. I hope that it's not too long before we get this PvE stuff. I do know it's going to be next year. There's a previous interview a couple months ago from LSS saying it was about a year out. So I still think we're like 6 to 8 months out would be my gut. Maybe we get this product like at the end of the year towards December. That would be amazing. But who knows? I guess we just trust LSS that they are, working on this under development, and they're working as hard as possible to make it as good as possible. And I think it is better that we wait for this product than that they present a product to market that doesn't do well, because this is one of those products that if you put it on market and it doesn't do well, it's hard to get the community to buy in a second time. So I do think it's very important that they're putting the time in to make it right. So I think that's good too. So hope you have yourselves a fantastic day. Let me know what you think about all these things in the comment section below. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.